The other day, a student of mine was asking me for some advice as to how she could improve her Spanish. She is seemingly from the United States, native English speaker. I won't say her real name, it is confidential. And she learned some Mexican Spanish, but now she lives in Spain. And the thing is, she needs some advice. She asked me for some advice as to how she could improve her Spanish. Okay, the typical thing that a teacher recommends in such a situation is to tell the student to 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 use the language, to immerse themselves in the language, which is true. It is indeed what I recommend. So get some Spanish friends, Spanish speaking friends, and speak with them. And also, don't don't just speak passively, but also analyze how they speak, why they use the words they use, and so on. So if you catch yourself using a specific word nobody else is nobody else uses in a specific situation, well, that's a sign that maybe that you're using some, I don't know, word wrong, right? Maybe not, but that's a sign. You have to explore that. When you're the only one that is using stubbornly a given word that nobody else uses, that's a sign. It's like in a poker game when you can't spot who the dumb player is at the table, it means that it is you. Something similar. You have to ask yourself. It happened to me when I learned some other foreign languages, not Spanish. I'm a native speaker of Spanish, and I was the only sucker using, I don't know, some kind of weird pronunciation, and it seemed so natural to me. I kept pronouncing that for years and years, until I surrendered. And this is my advice now. You indeed do have to surrender. Resistance is futile. No matter how absurd you find, I know, something in Spanish, no matter how brilliant your arguments are against something, take for example the double negation in Spanish. Spanish say no tengo nada. English speakers say I don't have anything or I have nothing, and they resist stubbornly to accept that in Spanish we say no tengo nada. That is my advice. Resistance won't change the language. No matter how awesome your arguments are against some absurdity in Spanish, the language is what it is, right? It's not that the student, instead of learning, has to come up with some counter arguments to defeat the teacher. No, man. This is not the task, the job of the student. The student has to learn how to speak. End of story. Period. Okay, that doesn't mean that the student has not to have any curiosity whatsoever about the language. It's not that. As a linguist, I am very, very curious. It's my profession. I'm very curious about language in general. Linguists are the scientists of language. Okay, if you don't have curiosity as a researcher, as a scientist, well, you're not doing your job right. So it doesn't mean that the student who is interested in learning how to speak a language doesn't have to have any curiosity at all. It's not that. Be curious. But this is the kicker. You don't have to subordinate your learning Spanish to your satisfaction of your curiosity. It's not like you will begin to speak. You will begin to use some weird language, some weird rule of the language, like the double negative. You won't subordinate your using that grammatical rule to your understanding of that rule. No, you won't. So be curious, of course, but your curiosity won't necessarily help you speak better. If you want to speak better Spanish, just give up. Give up. It's like a robber comes to you and yanks your purse. Okay, you have your ID, your money, your keys there. Indeed, you have to resist. Okay. Okay, in an ideal linguistic world, you have to do exactly the opposite. A native speaker comes to you, that's the thief, and wants to talk to you, namely to mug you. Don't resist. Don't resist. Let that Spanish speaker do anything to you, metaphorically speaking, and don't resist. Don't resist. If you have some curiosity, be curious. Be curious. Do your research. Ask the teacher. All you want, but don't let your curiosity be a condition to begin using a weird grammatical rule. Those are two separate fields. Learning how to speak a language is one thing, is one skill that is not necessarily linked. It bears a strong relationship, of course. It's not necessarily linked to learning about language in general, or a specific language. So learning to speak Spanish is not necessarily the same as learning about Spanish. As a clear example, take any one of the dead languages in the world, languages that are not spoken anymore, like Sanskrit, like Coptic, like ancient Greek, like Latin. For centuries or even millennia, those languages haven't had any native speaker, right? But the knowledge about those languages never stopped. There's been an uninterrupted transmission of the knowledge of those languages up to the present, right? So people know, and they know a lot about those languages, even though they are not spoken. So curiosity kept the knowledge about those languages alive. And knowing about those languages did not make necessarily good speakers of language, or did not make did not make for speakers to exist at all of those languages. Knowing Latin uninterruptedly for 2 millennia didn't create native speakers of Latin. Okay, those are extreme examples, but a clear illustration of what I want to say. These are two separate skills. So if you want to learn how to speak a language, be more, straightforward, more pragmatic. Don't let your intellectual knowledge or willingness to know about the language be an obstacle to your learning how to speak the language. Then again, if you do have too much curiosity about the language, you may be becoming a linguist, an informal linguist at least. And if you're curious about language so strong, just sign up for I don't know, a linguistics degree at some university. Why not? Why not? But again, these are two separate fields. Do have curiosity, but don't let that curiosity be a condition to start using weird grammatical rules. Okay, thanks for watching my video. I can teach both online or in person, and feel free to hire me and to learn Spanish with me. Goodbye.